Behind the badge lies a monster no one dared to expose. The words hung in the air as Detective Sarah Mitchell stared at the evidence board, her hands trembling. 20 years on the force, and she'd never imagined her own superior, Chief Richard Blackwood, could be responsible for such depravity. But the photographs didn't lie. Neither did the missing evidence, the tampered witness statements, or the trail of broken lives left in his wake. Sarah knew exposing him would cost her everything, but staying silent would cost her soul. Richard Blackwood was the golden boy of the Westlake Police Department. Decorated officer, community leader, family man. His face was plastered across billboards promoting public safety. Trust in Blackwood became the department's unofficial motto after he took over as chief 5 years ago. Crime rates dropped, conviction rates soared, and the mayor couldn't sing his praises loudly enough. Behind closed doors, though, Blackwood ruled through fear. Officers who questioned his methods found themselves working graveyard shifts in the worst neighborhoods. Those who pushed harder simply disappeared from the force altogether, their careers mysteriously derailed by internal affairs investigations or personal scandals. Sarah first noticed something was wrong when evidence in the Donovan trafficking case went missing. 3 kilos of cocaine and $50,000 in cash, gone without a trace. The official report blamed a processing error, but Sarah had personally logged those items. There was no error. Then came the Reynolds murder, a slam-dunk case that fell apart when the key witness suddenly recanted, claiming police coercion. Sarah knew the detective who took that statement. He wasn't the type to pressure witnesses. The pattern continued. Major cases collapsing, evidence vanishing, witnesses changing stories. Always cases involving powerful people or large sums of money. Always cases Blackwood took a personal interest in. "You're playing with fire, Mitchell," her partner Marcus warned when he caught her reviewing security footage from the evidence room. "Whatever you think you're finding, let it go." But Sarah couldn't. Not after she found the connection between Blackwood and James Harrington, the city's most notorious real estate developer. Not after she discovered that every case involving Harrington's properties had been systematically buried or dismissed during Blackwood's tenure. The breaking point came when young Officer Rodriguez was found dead in his apartment, ruled a suicide despite clear signs of struggle. Rodriguez had been assigned to the evidence room the night before the Donovan evidence disappeared. He mentioned to Sarah that he'd seen something strange, but wanted to verify before reporting it. He never got the chance. Sarah knew she needed hard evidence, something irrefutable that even Blackwood couldn't make disappear. She began working nights, holidays, anytime she could access records without raising suspicion. She created a duplicate case file, hidden in her apartment behind the ventilation grate where her father, also a cop, had taught her to keep emergency cash. "Always have an escape plan," he'd said. She never imagined she'd need it against one of their own. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Blackwood's administrative assistant, Diane, approached Sarah in the parking garage, looking over her shoulder nervously. "I can't do this anymore," she whispered, pressing a USB drive into Sarah's hand. "He doesn't know I made copies." Before Sarah could ask questions, Diane hurried away, the click of her heels echoing in the concrete structure. The drive contained years of Blackwood's private calendar, emails, and recorded phone conversations. Diane had been secretly documenting everything. There were meetings with known criminals, discussions about which evidence to misplace, and explicit instructions on how to pressure witnesses. Most damning were the financial records showing millions flowing through shell companies directly to Blackwood's offshore accounts after major cases were dismissed. But the true horror lay in a folder labeled simply insurance. Inside were videos of Blackwood personally torturing suspects, people who had never been officially arrested, whose disappearances had been written off as gang violence or runaways. Sarah watched in horror as Blackwood, still in uniform, methodically broke fingers, applied electric shocks, and worse. "Tell me where the money is," his voice demanded from the computer speakers, calm and measured as if he were ordering coffee. "No one's looking for you. No one will find you. You don't exist anymore." Sarah vomited in her kitchen sink, the images seared into her mind. This wasn't corruption. This was monstrous. And it had been happening right under their noses, protected by the very badge they all wore. She copied the files, encrypted them, and sent packages to the FBI, the state attorney general, and 3 journalists she trusted. If anything happened to her, the truth would still come out. The next morning, Blackwood called her into his office, smiling that practiced, camera-ready smile. "Mitchell, I've been reviewing your performance. Exemplary as always." He gestured to the chair across from his desk. "I'm putting together a special task force. Off the books, high priority. I want you to lead it." Sarah's heart hammered against her ribs. Did he know? Was this a trap? Or worse, was he trying to bring her into his circle? "What kind of task force, sir?" she managed to ask, her voice steadier than she felt. "The kind that makes problems disappear," Blackwood replied, his smile never reaching his eyes. "You've noticed things, haven't you, Sarah? You're thorough, observant. Those are valuable qualities if directed properly." He leaned forward. "Or dangerous ones if misapplied." The threat hung in the air between them. Sarah realized with crystal clarity that she wouldn't be leaving this office if she refused. "I'm honored, sir," she lied. "When do we start?" "Tonight. My lake house. 8 o'clock. Come alone." Blackwood turned to his computer, dismissing her. "We'll discuss the details there." Sarah walked out on legs that threatened to buckle, her mind racing. The lake house was isolated, miles from the nearest neighbor. If she disappeared there, no one would hear. No one would know. She had hours to decide. Run with her evidence and hope it was enough, or walk into what was almost certainly a death trap on the slim chance she could gather more proof. She chose a third option. At 8 o'clock sharp, Sarah's car pulled up to Blackwood's lake house. Security cameras tracked her approach to the front door. Inside, Blackwood waited with 2 other officers, Detectives Miller and Grayson, both known for their absolute loyalty to the chief. Both wearing shoulder holsters despite being off duty. "Mitchell," Blackwood greeted her, glass of whiskey in hand. "Right on time. Drink." "No thank you, sir," Sarah replied, hyper-aware of the recording device taped to her ribs, of the backup waiting just out of camera range, of the satellite surveillance, now focused on this location courtesy of an FBI contact who had taken her evidence seriously. "Suit yourself." Blackwood settled into an armchair. "Let's talk about Officer Rodriguez. Tragic situation." "Very tragic," Sarah agreed, carefully neutral. "Here's what I don't understand," Blackwood continued, swirling his whiskey. "Why would he send you files right before killing himself? What was so important that he had to share with you specifically?" Sarah's blood froze. Rodriguez hadn't sent her anything. This was a test or a confession. "I don't know what you mean, sir." Blackwood's smile vanished. "Don't insult me, Mitchell. We found the emails. We know he contacted you. What I want to know is what else you found. Who else you've told." He set down his glass with deliberate care. "This can go one of 2 ways. You tell me everything, give me every copy of whatever you've collected, and you walk away. Promotion, pay raise, whatever you want. Or—" he gestured to Miller and Grayson, who moved to stand on either side of her chair. "Or I disappear," Sarah finished for him. "Like the others." "Smart woman. I always liked that about you." Blackwood stood. "So what's it going to be?" Sarah looked him directly in the eyes. "Actually, sir, there's a third option." She glanced at her watch. "Right about now, the FBI is executing search warrants at your home, your office, and your storage unit on Pine Street. State police are arresting James Harrington and seizing his company's records. And that offshore account in the Caymans? Frozen, along with all the shell companies. Blackwood's face contorted with rage. He lunged for her, but before he could reach her, the doors and windows exploded inward. FBI, hands where we can see them. Agents swarmed the room, weapons drawn. Miller and Grayson immediately raised their hands, but Blackwood reached for his gun. 3 agents fired simultaneously. The chief of police crumpled to the floor, blood spreading across his expensive shirt. In the chaos that followed, the arrests, the statements, the medical examiner pronouncing Blackwood dead at the scene, Sarah sat quietly on the hood of a police car, watching the house she'd nearly died in. Her career was over. No police department would trust her after she'd brought down one of their own. The blue wall of silence had been breached, and she was on the wrong side of it now. But as dawn broke over the lake, Sarah felt something she hadn't experienced in months: peace. The monster behind the badge was gone. The victims would have justice. The truth had come to light. Sometimes the greatest act of loyalty to the badge is having the courage to expose those who dishonor it. Sometimes the true heroes aren't the ones with medals and commendations, but those who risk everything to protect the oath they swore, to serve and protect the innocent, no matter the cost. Sarah Mitchell had lost her career, but in doing so, she'd reclaimed her soul. Behind every badge is a human being capable of great good or terrible evil. The power we give to those who enforce our laws comes with the responsibility to ensure that power is never abused.